here is standing at the stern of the ship, if you remember.
Yeah.
And he's in tatters from the battle the night before. And he squints his eyes to make out this silhouette approaching from the east. So it comes up and docks alongside our Grace, and the captain of this behemoth ship throws a line, and Ferdinand motions him to come aboard. And he's dressed in the finest naval garb, and he introduces himself as Captain Reginald. So now they're beyond earshot from the crew. And Reginald explains that beyond searching the high seas for lost vessels, they also provide financing to help these ships prepare for the next leg of their journey to the New World. Right. So you can imagine the crew, how excited they are now about getting the well-needed resources. So incidentally, Jingo, Gabriella, and Jorge break into wine storage, and they're toasting their good fortune as the ship is getting towed back.
They're tying one on downstairs in the mate's quarters.
But by nightfall, Ferdinand pulls them all aside and shares that he's still going to be making the journey with them, but our Grace is going to assume a new captain by the name of Lewis. And as his first order of business, he appoints Hamley. Now, Hamley is a new navigator, and Hamley's responsible for working closely with Gabriella to reposition the masts and the sails.
Okay.
So Lewis has a goal of accelerating their pace to the New World. And so Hamley's responsible for rethinking nearly every aspect, from where to position the new mast to the material used to best weather the winds.
Got it.
Lewis has now a pretty aggressive goal for their arrival in the New World. And he says, I want to be reported on or updated on our progress every single day. Now, at first, Gabriella's all too pleased to have a thinking partner in Hamlin to rework the propulsion system. But she's also a little anxious that her role as the chief sail officer might be compromised under Lewis's leadership. Mm-hmm. So this infighting grows increasingly intense, and it becomes clear that the distractions really start to put Lewis's arrival goal in the New World in jeopardy. Each of the teams are so engulfed in their own projects that they spend very little time coordinating with the other teams. This all comes to a head. Lewis asked to take a tour of the new armament system, and they noticed that one of the components was constructed too close to one of the masts, really obstructing their ability to fully let out the sails. And of course, as you can imagine, meet Lewis's very aggressive timeline for getting to the New World. So at this point, you can imagine Lewis has just had enough. He summons all the officers to the deck for an emergency meeting. And in this meeting, Renick, he introduces his new addition to the officer corps of our Grace, Amerigo. And with the introduction of Amerigo, our Grace is poised to exit the optimization stage and enter the synchronization stage, which is what we will conclude with our next and final video.
Get out of here. I got to wait again?